It is Inside G2E with SportsGrid. I'm Brady Cannon here on a Wednesday morning, round 2 of the convention here at the Venetian Expo Center. And our first guest of the morning, Marek Suchar. He is the co-founder of Odin. And I had to ask myself, what is Odin? Marek is here to tell us all about it. And from my understanding, you are a provider, an odds provider, and I related it to my old friend Roxy Roxborough, who was the legend around here, truly a Hall of Famer, who would make the odds. He would make the baseball numbers, the basketball numbers, whatever it was, and he would provide those to the casinos out here in Las Vegas, and they would use his numbers, and then, of course, the market would be shaped by the bettors and what have you. Marek, very similarly, for esports, is an odds maker that he provides to operators. Am I accurate there? And please expand.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, many thanks for having me, Brady. You are absolutely right. When it comes to esports, we are essentially speaking about competitive gaming. So similarly, we will be looking at baseball, basketball, soccer, football. We provide the lines for competitive gaming games, which are the titles such as Counter-Strike, Dota 2, League of Legends. These games has been around for more than a decade, so they have the player base, they have the fan base that are watching the tournaments where prize pools are already in millions of dollars. And there are people eventually, as this is a human nature, whenever you can bet on something, you bet on it. So similarly, as you look at traditional sports where it is quite common to bet on baseball, to bet on soccer, to bet on football, you can bet on competitive gaming, which we call esports. As I mentioned, Counter-Strike, Dota, League of Legends, and these kind of titles. And Odin GG is market-leading provider of these solutions. So we provide our partners with everything from odds feed, risk management, iframe solution, widgets, additional content in form of eSIMs. So we are the only actually end-to-end esports betting provider on the market these days.
And I found that to be very interesting, and obviously congratulations, you're exclusive in that sense that you from start to finish, you have everything in between. You provide your operator with all of that. And in layman's terms, if you could please explain to the audience, where does that start and where does that finish? What does that mean when you have the entire scope of the situation?
I will be looking at it more from the perspective of bettors, because of course this is mostly what we are talking about. If you come, and this is one of the reasons why we founded Odin 6-7 years ago, when you came to the bookmakers and essentially you want to bet on esports, there were very limited offering of what to bet on. So you can bet from the perspective of the offering, like half of the time you could only bet because the lines were not available on the time, and you can bet only on the match winner. We started to develop our own model, starting to develop our own risk management solutions. So right now you can come to the bookmaker, you can bet almost 80-90% of the time with Counter-Strike 100% of the time, and you can bet on multiple different things from player props, match winner, series winner, next round winner, and all of that.
It's amazing.
So there are multiple things that you can bet on. So this is engaging. Usually esports, we are speaking about millennials and younger audience. So you are used to your Netflixes, Spotify's, YouTube's, you have the content on demand. You just come, I want to watch this, I want to listen to this, I just have it. And suddenly your experience going to the bookmaker and betting on your favorite game is not there, because you can't bet only on this. So we are trying to come with the engagement where you can actually, again, bet on everything that you want to bet on. And this is why the bookmakers work with us, because they do understand that from the perspective of bettors, the better and more engagement you have, the better and more those bettors are essentially with you and they are enjoying the betting on their favorite game that they are watching.
Very good. I want to ask you, Marek, I know that there's a football game coming up on Thursday, and there's another, 100 games coming up on Sunday, and there's baseball tonight, and this. Are there scheduled, appointments of when there's going to be an esport matchup or something? So fans that are, bettors, what have you, of these events, they know, hey, Saturday, so-and-so's playing so-and-so in Counter-Strike, and I can't wait to bet this and that and the other. Is there scheduled appointments like that?
Yes, absolutely. It is like in traditional sports where you have your smaller tournaments, you have your bigger tournaments, you have your tier 2 teams, you have your tier 1 teams, the top class teams, essentially, and this goes across Dota 2, League of Legends, Counter-Strike. They have their own, let's say, ecosystem.
Right.
And exactly, there will be a major in Counter-Strike in Budapest later this year, in mid-December, and this is exactly that pinnacle of the Counter-Strike scene. Similar to when you have your Super Bowl, similar when you have your World Cup finals.
Right.
So this is exactly what will be happening. this is one part of the story when it comes to esports. In addition to that, we have also what we call 24/7 content, or eSIMs, where you have literally players in the studio playing the games 24/7. So essentially, even if there is no soccer match, if there is no basketball match, you as a bettor can come to the sports book and you can bet on these games because you are familiar with them. They are much more fast-paced, and they provide you the similar thrill as essentially betting on your basketball or your soccer.
And Marek, this is predominantly available outside of the United States currently?
So esports is truly global. So
right.
We are speaking about each and every region. When it comes to US, we already work with ESPN Bet, so you will find our offering within their offering as well. And you can bet matches, as we mentioned, Counter-Strike, Dota 2, League of Legends. But at the same time, you can bet on e-soccer, e-basketball, and we will be launching this quarter our e-football as well, specifically targeting for American audience. So definitely this will be something that we'll be bringing to the market.
You know, I'm just trying to get a handle on NFL football and PGA Tour golf, and now I got to handicap esports too, huh? That's what you're telling me? That's a wave of the future, right?
Absolutely. We are not trying to enforce on anybody to follow esports. It is either you love it, you play it, you watch it, or you don't, right?
Yeah.
So it is similar as going with football to, let's say, Europe. Then football is something else, right? It's soccer. So this is what we are seeing similarly when it comes to esports. Either you play the game in the past, you watch the game right now, and you are happy to bet on it, or you will be, again, soccer fan, football fan, basketball fan. So it is not about pushing you to bet on esports. It is if you are
just another option.
Exactly.
Which is amazing. You know, I mean, it's something to think about video games, and now we're at a stage where you can bet on them and bet on people playing those video games. We talked about, you know, as far as where this is present. You mentioned it's global, of course. And this is something that is new to me a little bit in the United States. Is that kind of the next step for you to become more prolific in the United States?
Exactly, this is the plan. Odin GG is already licensed in multiple jurisdictions, so coming from Canada, Ontario, New Jersey, Ohio, West Virginia, Colorado. So we are definitely making the push into being licensed in more and more states within the US. And at the same time, working with the likes of ESPN Bet, speaking to multiple other bookmakers, because from our perspective, esports it is not coming, it is already here.
Yeah.
You have the players, if you go to your probably kids, nephews, they will be speaking about Counter-Strike, they will be speaking about Call of Duty, they will be speaking and playing Valorant, Fortnite, and multiple other titles. Some of them have developed esports ecosystem, some of them more like in a gaming space, but at the same time, this is not coming. This has come already, and right now for us, it is just to entertain that idea and provide the opportunities to the market, because the audience is already here, it has matured, and as much as they love to play the game, as they love to watch the game, they essentially want to bet on it as well.
Tell me about G2E and Las Vegas and your presence here. Is this everything you expected, and are you reaping the rewards of Odin, introducing it to everybody? Do you feel there's growth going on during your few days here in town?
Yeah, the growth is definitely here. We are doing our part in terms of also like education from the perspective of regulators, from the perspective of bookmakers, because there are trends that are global, and of course they are coming into the US. So from that perspective, on our side right now, the major heavy lifting is about educating the market about the opportunities of esports, because we have multiple customers globally where they handle on esports can be already 5 to 10% of the GGR. It is already one of the top 4-5 sports. We have the ones that are that esports sits on the second,
top
third
4
position.
or 5 handle.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So this is how esports is performing globally, and frankly speaking, there is no reason in US to perform differently.
Right.
We have just the blockers in terms of, to some extent, regulation, to some extent, bookmakers' understanding of the landscape, and we are trying to do the heavy lifting and educate the market that this is not coming. This has come already.
Very good. He is Marek Suchar. He is a co-founder of Odin. That is ODDIN.GG. Thank you so much for joining us here at G2E.
Thank you for having me.